Okay guys, this is exercise 3 on unit 4, lesson 1. And we're setting up fractions. It says Erica is driving at a constant rate. She travels 120 miles in 2 hours. So I'm going to make the fraction miles over hours. So when I go to do part A, I'm going to use that 120 and put it over 2. I'm going to use the information from the question. 120 miles over 2 hours equals. Now let's see what they give us here. If Erica travels at the same rate, how far will she travel in 3 hours? So the bottom of my fraction was hours. So that 3 has to go on the bottom of my new fraction, which means I don't know the top. And then I cross multiply. 2 times x is 2x. 120 times 3 is 360. Now to get x by itself, I have to divide by 2. Whatever I do to one side, I do the other. So I get x equals 180. So I just found how many miles she went. So that's really 180 miles. Okay. Part B says write a proportional relationship between the distance that Erica will drive over the time t that she travels. So from the question we know she travels 120 miles in 2 hours. So it's 120 over 2. Then they want miles. They want me to represent as a distance. So I'm going to use a d for miles. And t represents time. So hours is time. So I put a t. And then I cross multiply. I get 2d, 2d, 2 times d is 2d, equals 120 times t is 120t. And then what do they want me to solve for? Solve the proportion for d as a function of t. So get d by itself. So if I want d by itself, I have to divide by 2. Divide by 2. So I get d equals 120 divided by 2. If you use your calculator or your head, is 60. And then t sticks with it. Okay. So d equals 60t. Okay, part C. What is the value of the proportional constant? That means take the numbers from the problem and divide them. So the numbers from the problem are 120 over 2. So do 120 over 2. I divide them. 120 divided by 2 is 60. And the units are miles, because the top was miles, per, because I'm dividing, hour. So I'm going to write miles per hour. So she goes 60 miles per hour. So if I go to graph this, wait, they don't want me to graph it yet. Okay, so in part D, it says how much time will it take Erica to travel 150 miles? So let's go back up to the problem. We know she goes 120 miles in 2 hours. 120 miles in 2 hours. We want to know how much she goes for 150 miles. So 150 miles, miles is on the top of our fraction. So 150 goes on the top. X goes on the bottom because I don't know what it is. Cross multiply. 120x equals 2 times 150 is 300. I divide by 120. Divide by 120. So I'm going to go to my calculator. I'm going to do 300 divided by 120. I got 2.5. So 2.5 hours I found. Because the bottom number represents hours. The top number is miles, bottom number is hours. So since I was finding x and it was on the bottom, I was finding hours. Okay, now they want me to graph it. Now I know she goes 60 miles per hour. So every hour she goes 60 miles. So at 0 miles she goes 0 hours. Okay. If you want to get the rest on the calculator and you don't want to figure it out in your head, I'm going to go to the calc, go to y equals. Let's use this equation from up here. I'll type in 60. I can't type in an x, t, so I'll type in an x instead. Go to my table. Scroll down a little bit. So 0, 0. I have that graphed. 160, which makes sense. After 1 hour, she goes 60. Now this goes 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. It goes by 20s. So I'm going to graph 160. So I'm going to go over to 1, up to 60, 20, 40, 60. Okay, at 2, she goes 120. So at 2, I got to go up to 120. Here's 100, 120. And at 3, she goes 180. So at 3, I'm going to go up to 180. Here's 100, 120, 140, 160, 180. This is my graph. Okay, so we did that part. And the last part, they asked for the constant of proportionality from part C. What is the constant of proportionality from part C? Represented in the graph. So we found the constant was 60 miles per hour. So that means every hour she goes another 60 miles. That's what it means on the graph. Every hour she goes another 60 miles, which means if you're going 60 miles per hour, think about a car. Okay, if you're going 60 miles per hour, that's speed. So when they want to know what it means on the graph, it means speed. All right, so now what I want you to do, we finished what we're going to do on the lesson. So now what you have to do and finish for homework is flip all the way to the homework ditto in your packet. Past mine. Let's see. Oh, here it is. Flip to this page. This is your homework tonight. You have to do number 1 all. So everything on this page you have to do. You don't have to do anything after that. Okay? Homework tonight is only number 1 all. Everything here. All right? Good luck, guys.